Hey, good evening, everybody. I just wanted to come in and make a quick video. A call from my mother earlier prompted me to sit down and get a little bit of information put together that I have been looking at as far as this coronavirus thing goes. I see a lot of panic out there about it, and my mother actually called me tonight and asked me what I was doing to protect myself from the coronavirus. And my response to that was, what is there to do other than what I already do, which is take care of my health, wash my hands, the same stuff. So this is in no way meant to mock my mother and her concern. I understand that the concern is heavy from everybody. We have all of our news anchors pushing fear 24/7. If you have regular television in your house, likely you're hearing coronavirus every 5 to 10 minutes, if not more. So the likelihood that you are scared to death of coronavirus is very high. I, on the other hand, do not have television in my home. I choose to not have the constant negativity running through the walls of my house. I was speaking with a girl last week, and we were talking about just the state of affairs in our country in general. And she blames a lot of it on the media, because the media is not going to promote positivity. They're not going to share, the good in the world. They're going to share the bad. They're going to share the evil. They're going to share the corrupt. They're going to share the negative, because they can't control you otherwise. They can't control you if you think the world is not falling apart. They can only control you when you're convinced that everything is falling apart. Here's the deal, and let me just get this out of the way right now. I believe that God created each and every one of us. Excuse me. I believe I'm actually sick right now. I'm not dying, but I am sick. I believe that God created each and every one of us with a magnificent immune system. I believe that God created each and every one of us to live forever if the conditions were right. And I believe, especially if we're believers, that we should be doing anything and everything to eliminate those toxins from our body so that we can live a healthy, holistic lifestyle for our Creator here on earth. That's what I believe. That is what I practice. Now, that having been said, if I came down with the symptoms of coronavirus, I would likely go to the emergency room just to get the diagnosis, and then I would go home and I would be sick for a couple of weeks, and I would keep myself hydrated. And if I couldn't keep myself hydrated, I would go back to the hospital and I would have them put me on fluids. That is the only way you are going to survive these types of viruses, is if you don't get dehydrated. That is the key, okay? And now with this one, it's a little bit different than the flu. Although it's easier to stay hydrated with this one, it's very possible to get pneumonia with this one. So if you get sick with this, you don't want to try and work through it. You want to go home, you want to lay down, you want to rest and let your body heal, okay? Large doses of vitamin C, large doses of vitamin A, large doses of vitamin D. Colloidal silver will help tremendously. And rest and fluids, okay? This is not a death sentence. Coronavirus is not a death sentence. I want to share a little bit of information with you, and from the CDC's own website, okay? So basically, coronavirus, the reported illnesses have ranged from mild symptoms to severe illness and death. Symptoms include fever, cough, and shortness of breath. CDC believes at the time that the symptoms of COVID-19 may appear in as few as 2 days or as long as 14. Please forgive me because I'm losing my voice with this one. I had a sore throat, so I'm losing my voice with this one. I actually sound much sicker than I really am. I actually don't feel that bad. I just have a really, really sparse voice right now. But I feel it's important that I make this video. Okay, so the latest situation summary updates are available on the CDC's Coronavirus Disease 2019, and then in parentheses, COVID-19 webpage. So you can look all of this stuff up on the CDC's website themselves. Okay, so while you're hearing, if you get this, you're going to die from CNN or Fox News, the reality is it's very, they're not hyping it up on CDC's website, which is very strange to me. So we have this media agenda pushing this fear. Why are they pushing this fear so much? My theory is that they have a vaccine in the pipeline. If they can scare you enough now about the big bad coronavirus. Coronavirus has been around forever, you guys. This is not a new virus. It's not like they don't know how to deal with this virus. This is not new. It's been around forever. More people die of different strains of the flu every year than have died of the coronavirus, and it's been around just as long, okay? It's not a new thing. So, let's see here, how it spreads. So it spreads from person to person, between people who are in close contact with each other, respiratory droplets produced when an infected person coughs or sneezes. So make sure you're covering your mouth when you cough or you sneeze, preferably with a tissue that can be thrown away afterwards, not directly into your hand. So the droplets can land in the mouths or noses of other people who are nearby. So they would have to be pretty close, I would think. If you're coughing to get into somebody else's, I don't know, I would think you'd have to be like in a crowded situation, like on a bus or a subway train or somewhere where you're really close proximity of each other. But it can possibly be inhaled into the lungs. So it says spread from contact with infected surfaces or objects. From what I understood, and it's not saying it here, so I'm gonna have to look up to it, but from what I understood, the time that it stays alive on a surface object is very short. So you wouldn't find those same germs there like in an hour or two. I think it's like minutes that the germs actually stay viable. I'll have to look that up though. I forget where I heard that. So anyways, it may be possible to get it by touching a surface object that has the virus on it and then touching your mouth, nose, or eyes. But it is not thought to be the main way the virus spreads. So don't freak out about grabbing the handles on your grocery cart, you know, because it was likely stayed there long enough for that virus for those germs to die and not be viable. So it spreads when people are thought most contagious when they are symptomatic. So if I had coronavirus right now, I would be the sickest. I would be the most contagious, not necessarily when it's incubating, which is kind of different from like chickenpox. So chickenpox, you are more contagious during the incubation period than you are when you actually have the pox. So it's kind of different from that one. It's the other way around. So how efficiently does it spread? How easily does the virus spread from person to person can vary. Some viruses are highly contagious, like the measles, while other viruses are less so, meaning that this one is less so. Another factor is whether the spread continues over multiple generations of people. If spread is sustained, the virus that causes COVID-19 seems to be spreading easily and sustainably in Hubei province and other parts of China. So they're still actually learning more about this. Again, our symptoms are fever, cough, and shortness of breath. Okay, prevention and treatment. Before we go there, I want to go back to how it spreads. You see that there's a lack of panic in these things here. Like it's not as highly contagious as the measles. It's not easily infecting people from surface objects. This is not, there's no panic in this CDC report page. But here's what's really interesting, you guys. If I can just get my page to work, that would be awesome. I might have to reset it. Hold on. Yeah? I'm actually making a video right now. Can you give me a few minutes?
A video?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
First plan.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the leader of last week, an emergency meeting in Beijing was held by the Chinese leader and about the need to contain the coronavirus and set up a system to prevent similar epidemics in the future. This is what's interesting, is what he said. A national system to control biosecurity risks must be put in place to protect the people's health, Xi said. Because lab safety is a national security issue. It goes on to say Xi didn't actually admit that the coronavirus, now devastating large swaths of China, had escaped from one of the country's bio-research labs. By the way, this is the New York Post. But the very next day, evidence emerged suggesting that this is exactly what happened, as the Chinese Ministry of Science and Technology released a new directive titled Instructions on Strengthening Biosecurity Management in Microbiology Labs that handle advanced viruses like the novel coronavirus. Something you need to understand is that I said this from the very beginning and people thought I was nuts. I said, this is a lab-generated pandemic. They were either messing around with the virus and it got loose, or they were experimenting with a vaccine on their own people. Get this through your heads, and this is very important for you to understand. Your government, their government, every government will experiment on their own people. Make no mistake about that. Don't ever doubt that for a minute, because I would be willing to bet that something like that is exactly what happened in Wuhan, okay? And then we turned around and we blamed it on eating bats and every other thing, which obviously is not good, okay? But the reality is that their government, their very own government, is probably responsible for this release of this virus, okay? That's a very big deal to pay attention to. Okay, so prevention and treatment. We're going to move on from there now, because now you know why the CDC has this lack of panic, okay? Because this is not a naturally occurring. They are trying desperately to contain their lab experiment gone wrong. Okay? What? Oh, what? You want to come? Come on. They are trying very desperately to contain their lab failure. They made a mistake, and now we're all paying for it. Okay? They will and have experimented on their own people time and time again. I guess Thor's going to steal the show. You can't sit there. So anyways, there is currently no vaccine to prevent the coronavirus. Even if there was a vaccine, it wouldn't prevent it, because we got vaccines for measles and it doesn't prevent it. We got vaccines for 9 different shades of flu and it doesn't It doesn't prevent it. They just keep coming. They just keep mutating, and the government can't stop it. It's natural selection, I'm telling you. And I'm not saying that to downplay anybody's death or anybody's sickness at all. But there are certain things that are written into the code of this world. Unfortunately, we live in a world full of sickness, and it's going to happen. All right, so the best way to prevent illness is to avoid being exposed to the virus in the first place. Not a lot of us have that luxury. I work with the public every day. I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada, where people are coming in from all over the world every day. Some of us can't avoid it. What? You're a pain in the butt. What is a pain in the butt? Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you're sick. Don't go to school, and don't make your kids go to school because you got to go to work. Take the day off and take care of your damn kids. Cover your cough and sneeze with a tissue and throw it in the trash. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces on a regular, using a regular household cleaner or spray or wipe, and follow CDC's recommendation for using a face mask. Here's the thing. Everybody's running around who's not sick wearing face masks. It says right here, CDC does not recommend that people who are well wear a face mask to protect themselves. Face masks should be used by people who show symptoms only. Okay? Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. This is really common sense stuff, guys. This is stuff we all learned in kindergarten, right? So, there's the same prevention that's for the common cold. This is not a deadly virus that they want us all to believe it is. It is a sick virus, and you can get very sick from it. A lot of times, and a lot of people are dying because they're not getting the treatment they need once they get sick, or they're pushing through it, they're ending up with pneumonia, and they're dying. You know, they're playing around with it, basically. I would like to add to this list of preventions. Please don't spill that, baby. I would like to add to this list of preventions by strongly recommending you to find an excellent magnesium supplement. Okay, I always refer to Biotics research for magnesium and for essential fatty acids, both of which increase your immune system. Start taking colloidal silver. It's an antiviral. When you first get sick, don't take it every day because your body builds up an immunity to it, just like antibiotics. Take it at the first sign of sickness. At the first sign of sickness, eat something fatty and take high doses of vitamin D and vitamin A with it. Also, vitamin C, 1,000 milligrams every hour on the hour until you have loose stools, and then pull back. You have got to get these nutrients into your body, because what happens with these viruses is they attack all of those nutrients that are inside your body. And that's how people get really sick, because they get completely deficient in vitamins and minerals that should be in their bodies. Okay? Honest to God. Stay away from stuff like juices. A lot of people immediately want to go to juice, orange juice and apple juice when they're sick. But these juices can actually fill your body full of sugar, and they don't do anything for you. They're just actually keeping you from actually drinking something that will hydrate you, like an electrolyte drink or some just good old-fashioned water. Okay? If you are going to drink juice, make sure you're drinking real, organic juice, no sugar added, and not from concentrate. Okay? That's my own personal advice. The minute I show a sign of sickness, I do this stuff. And I got that new stuff this time. It worked really well with my sore throat. It's a big word, and it starts with an O. I cannot say the word, but I will link it below the video. How about that? But it worked really well with my throat. So it took the pain away right away. Here's the deal, because after everything I've said, I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, but people have died, Tracy. People have died. What about the people who have died? Well, U.S. News Fact Box says many of those with the new virus who have died had pre-existing medical conditions or were elderly or those with weakened immune systems. Let me tell you something, folks. If you are out there vaccinating yourselves and your children with God knows what, you have a weakened immune system. Don't go stand in line for a new vaccine. You need to get off of all of these vaccines and build up your immune system. Get sick once in a while. Take it like a man and take it as a badge of honor, because now if you get this coronavirus, you get lifelong immunity. That's what another doctor said on another show. It's just like the measles. You're immune to this stuff if you let yourself get the natural strain. So stopping yourself from getting the natural strain of chickenpox, measles, mumps, rubella, all of it. You need to get that. That's the only way we can achieve herd immunity for real, is for everybody to get the disease, And we live in the freaking 21st century, you guys. You think they can't manage a case of the measles now? I mean, come on. Anyways, coronavirus infections have a wide range of symptoms, including fever, cough, and breathing difficulties. Statistics from China indicate that about 2% of people infected with the new virus have died. 2% of China's population? And we're freaking out? Do we know how many people are in China? I mean, and again, I'm not downplaying anybody's death, but listen to what it says. These people already had pre-existing medical conditions. That meant they were not in good health. If you really care about not getting sick or feeling little effects of being sick, then start taking care of yourself. Stop eating every shade of fast food morning, noon, and night. Stop eating garbage. Take care of yourself. Get some fatty acids in your body. Get some proteins in your body. Get some vitamins and nutrients in your body. It's so frustrating. I watch it even with my own daughter. She could care less about what goes in her mouth, and she feels like garbage all the time. Anyways, it says, suggesting it may be deadlier than the seasonal flu. Okay, suggesting that. We don't have those actual numbers yet, okay? But less deadly than the SARS, which killed 10% of infected individuals. You guys, this is not a reason for us to run around like Chicken Little with our heads chopped off, screaming the sky is falling. This is not the time to do that. What do you do if you get sick? If you develop a fever and symptoms of respiratory illness, such as cough or shortness of breath. Oh, and then it says within 14 days after travel from China, you should call ahead to a healthcare professional and mention your recent travel or close contact. If you have had close contact with someone showing these symptoms who has recently traveled from this area, you should call ahead to a healthcare professional. Stay home except to get medical care. If you're running a fever and coughing, you have no reason to leave your house, and no job is worth dying for. They will get over it if you don't show up to work because you have a fever. You put everybody at risk when you go around them and you have a fever. You're putting everybody at risk. This one's interesting. Separate yourself from other people and animals in your home. That's very strange. People, as much as possible, you should stay in a specific room and away from other people in your home. Also, you should use a separate bathroom if possible, because you're touching everything. You know, you don't think to wipe down the toilet handle when you're done going to the bathroom. You don't think to wipe down the sink knobs, you know, stuff like that. Animals, you should restrict contact with your pets and animals while you're sick, just like you would around other people. Although they have not been reports of pets or other animals becoming sick with COVID-19, it is still recommended that people with COVID-19 limit contact with their animals until more information is known about the virus. So they don't know if it's transferable, but to be on the safe side, you should limit your contact with your pets if you're sick. Again, if you have this virus, what are you doing walking around the house, hanging out with your family and with your pets? Go to bed. I mean, common sense. Seriously. Call your doctor before you go to the doctor's office. They might take special precautions with you to limit exposure to anybody else who's there. Wear a face mask if you have the symptoms, not to avoid getting the symptoms. Cover your coughs and sneezes, which you should be doing with a mask. Clean your hands often with sanitizer or washing your hands. Avoid sharing personal household items like drinking glasses, eating utensils, common sense stuff. Clean all high-touch surfaces every day. Doorknobs, tabletops, fixtures, toilets, phones, keyboards, tablets, all that stuff. Monitor your symptoms. Seek prompt medical attention if your illness is getting worse. If you've stayed home for 2 days and it just seems to be getting worse, you want to contact your doctor or go to the emergency room. You know, we have to be proactive with our care here, you guys. If we know something's going around, the best thing that you can do is if you feel like you have those symptoms, then you need to call somebody and you need to go in and get checked out. Obviously, there's nothing they can do for you if you have a virus. They cannot give you antibiotics. They can give you stuff like Tamiflu, but there's really no reason to give you that because it's not flu. Tamiflu is more for like if you got diarrhea and you're throwing up and stuff like that. This is something completely different. If you're having a hard time with coughing and shortness of breath, they might put you on a steroid. But there's really nothing that they can do for you unless you're dehydrated, at which point they can put you on fluids. But it's a virus. It's got to run its course. The fastest and easiest way it does that is for you to go to bed. Go to bed and leave the outside world outside. You know? So I hope that you will listen to this video and you will calm down. You know? Calm down. Become obsessive compulsive about washing your hands. But calm down, because seriously, no amount of panic is going to make this any better. And I guarantee you that there is a long-term agenda. There's a long-term goal here. Sorry, I turned off all my light. There is a long-term agenda and a long-term goal here. That goal is a vaccine. I guarantee you, I said it the first day that they started coming out with the coronavirus. I said, there's a vaccine in the pipeline. You mark my words. 2 people have already mapped this virus for a vaccine. I think they were already working on it previously. They just don't want to admit it. Sorry. I don't actually even have a cough. I just cough because my throat starts to tickle. I think they were already working on a vaccine and they just don't want to admit it. Or, like that one article suggested, they are trying to keep a lab experiment quiet. And they were testing this stuff out and it got away from them. So, anyway, that's my video. I hope you can calm down a little bit. You know, there's no fire yet. And the best way to do, if you're going to get this virus, you're going to get it. There's nothing you can do to avoid it outside of staying home and putting yourself in a bubble. Who's got time or money to do that? None of us. There is no way that you're going to prevent yourself from getting this virus, but you can be ready. Build your immune system. Get off the fast food, get off the soda, get off the sugar, and start pounding vegetable juice and fresh vegetables and fresh fruits every day. High protein and high fatty acid foods, high good fat foods, okay? Build your immune system up. Listen, you cannot OD on oh geez, supplements. You cannot OD on them. Take the supplements. Your body will excrete what it cannot absorb, and get a good high quality supplement. Like I said, I recommend magnesium and EFAs by Biotics Research only. I have used several different versions of magnesium and essential fatty acids, and I never get the same result from them that I do from the Biotics. Okay? I just noticed that this one is always in question. Anyways, funny thing you find when you sit here and talk into a camera. Get these supplements, guys. If you use colloidal silver, make sure it's 500 parts per million. The higher parts per million it is, the stronger it is. Okay? Take care of yourselves. Be prepared, and that's the only way to be prepared. Running around like a chicken with your head cut off is not preparing you. Wearing a mask is a false sense of security. If you're going to get this virus, you're going to get it. Be prepared to kick its ass. Okay? That's all you can do. Just whatever comes your way, be prepared to kick its ass. That which does not kill you will only make you stronger. God bless you, and have a great night.